Hello again, ladies. Welcome back to my relationship series on my recently launched YouTube channel covering all aspects of human relationships and love, and especially helping men understand guys better. And today's video is on the types of men to avoid. It's a follow-up to another recent video I've done on how to find that perfect guy, or guys that you'll want to be with forever. So this is kind of the opposite. The other video was what to look for. This is what to avoid like the plague when you're searching for that Mr. Right. So watch out, ladies. There are real scumbags out there these days, and that's an understatement. These so-called men are looking for easy targets, and you don't want to be one of them. They do this because they themselves are weak. The problem is that in today's society, these weak men are becoming more numerous. Mr. Right is harder and harder to find. Every time you go out, you're likely to see one of these poor excuses of the male gender. I myself are embarrassed that some of these guys are even out there. But you don't have to worry, because I know these types. And I'm going to show you exactly who they are, what they act like, why they are trouble, and how they will try to trick you into seeing them as real, genuine men. After this video, you're going to learn how to see right through them. So what's the first kind of guy to avoid? The best friend. Okay, how to spot them. These are the guys everyone feels sorry for, right? They try and try again to get the girl, but always seem to get the dreaded, let's just be friends. They may have been a little nerdy at one point in their life, and they're almost always very shy. You yourself may have had one of these best friends. These guys aren't too bad, right? Or are they? Why to avoid them? The reason to stay away from this guy is simple. They are manipulative. There's a reason they always fall into that friend zone. They didn't ever want to be your friend, actually. While the friendship may be very real and dear to you, understand that the entire thing has been their attempt to sleep with you, and that's not an understatement. I can say that from a guy's perspective. Every nice thing they've ever done for you has been a lie, a way to get you to like them, a way to get into your pants. Why would you ever want to be with anyone like that? So what they will do, here's a heads up. Eventually, after they tried, they're tired of the whole trying to be friends thing, they will start to become a bit controlling. They will tell you, you shouldn't talk to that guy. He's obviously only looking for one thing. They're trying to pretend they have your interests at heart. Of course, you will trust their advice. He is your best friend after all. But at some point, he will man up and tell you how he really feels about you at some magic moment, at which point you'll probably reject him, but you will let him down easy to try and salvage the friendship. He will appear to be okay for a while. Then you'll see his true colors. He'll bring up how you always date losers and that you're ridiculous for ever rejecting him. He'll try to rationalize with you, listing reasons why you should be with him. His temper will flare when you reject him yet again, at which point several things can happen. Either A, you part ways and he gets over it, or B, he decides that you are in the wrong. He vows to never be put in the friend zone again. He himself is like, no, I'll never become a guy who's in the friend zone again, and then he becomes the pickup artist, which is the next kind of guy you want to avoid. So how to spot them? Well, it's a bit easier to spot them. They aren't hard to spot at all. They usually show up at clubs and groups of 2 or more, and are usually dressed in flashy, outrageous attire. You will see them walking around the room, trying to find their first target to seduce. If one approaches you, there are several things he can say to try and spark a conversation, all of them being equally ridiculous. They're fake and overtly cocky, these guys. So why to avoid them? That should be obvious. The difference between the best friend and this guy is that he has actually found out how to manipulate in the right ways to be successful with women. So it's more dangerous. He comes with loads of emotional issues, and it's impossible to have any decent relationship with him because of it. This weasel looks at women as conquests. Okay, really. He has no real interest in you as a person. He's only interested in his temporary high that you can give him by boosting his damaged ego. So what will they try to do? Well, A, he will ask you a question made to provoke an emotional response. This can run the gamut of getting your opinion on something, asking if you saw something, etc. All of it will sound outlandish because it's usually made up just to get you talking. These guys have their lines all pre-scripted. Now, after opening up, they'll usually try to tease you playfully. This isn't not flirting, don't get confused. He's trying to lower your self-esteem, and that puts him in control. Don't get yourself in that situation. Next, he'll attempt somehow to show you how valuable he is. This can range from a simple trick to a personality test, all the way up to ignoring you and flirting with your friends right in the same moment to make you a little jealous. The goal is to show that he is the prize. Well, he's not actually. Lastly, he'll try to close you in some way, which means he's going to ask for your number, going for the kiss, or suggest going somewhere else in hopes that he can have sex with you. Flat out. Well, not all pickup artists follow this exact formula. Some have more of a free-flowing style, but the best rule is if he's acting unnatural, he probably is. So moving on, the next main kind of category of guy you want to avoid completely is the man-child. So how to spot them? Well, here's a guy that just can't grow up. He spends his days playing video games, his nights partying, and his mornings, well, even afternoons, sleeping. That's fine maybe in the first year of college, but not after that. When his clothes get dirty, he has his mom wash them. The trash will pile up in the wastebasket until finally he decides he can't stuff any more empty cans of ravioli in there and is forced to take it out. He's constantly late and broke. He's also constantly pathetic. Again, it's basically like a first-year college dude. It was fine back then, but not anymore. Now, why to avoid them? Well, if you're looking for your life partner, you want someone who can take care of himself. If he can't, then that leaves one person to take care of him. That'll be you. You don't want to become his mother. Don't put yourself in this situation. The problem isn't that these guys are inherently really bad people. It's just they haven't grown up yet. If you are at the point in your life where you feel you're ready to settle down, don't settle for a boy. You want a man. You'll find yourself in a mother-child relationship and not a man-woman relationship. Now, what will they try to do? You will probably meet one of these guys at a party or in a bar. Like I said above, they aren't bad guys. They'll be genuine, humorous, and legitimately interesting. But that's not enough, right? He'll be the life of the party, and everyone will seem to like him and his antics, witty antics. But by the end of the night, he'll probably ask you for a phone number so he can call you sometime. You'll go out on dates, and everything will seem normal. The beginning's always great with this kind of guy. They're actually nice guys, but then things start to go downhill because he's just not growing up. You see, what you don't notice is that whether he paid for dinner, he pulled out a card with his parents' name on it. That's a red flag. You will go over to his place at some point and be horrified. It will look like something Oscar the Grouch wouldn't mind living in. Where these guys get many women at is that by the time you see his place, you're usually in the honeymoon period of the relationship. Meaning, even though you see all his man-child signs, you choose to look past them in hopes he will grow up. Because after all, he's a great guy, he just doesn't know how to clean the house, or he just doesn't know how to take care of his cooking. But it's a very dangerous place to be in, indeed, because those things will be a deal breaker later on. The next type of guy to avoid is the narcissist. Now, how to spot them? At first glance, this guy will appear to have it all together. Women will be naturally attracted to him based solely on how handsome and well put together he is. He's likely to be quite successful with money, and he'll never fail to mention that fact. That's a red flag. When talking to him, you will notice that the topic of conversation barely, if ever, strays from himself. They're not shy about their accomplishments, how often they work out, and how lucky you are to have met him. So why to avoid them? Well, it's obvious, right? If you become involved with a guy like this, the downfalls will make themselves apparent quickly. You will never have your own moment. You'll never be allowed to outdo him. Everything you've done and are doing and will do will pale in comparison to his greatness. This is the type of guy that has no problem with cheating on you. He thinks he's entitled to everything life has to offer him. Your personality will be completely consumed and changed to accommodate his vast ego that you'll never escape from. He's most likely on the list to be emotionally abusive. You will lose yourself to this type of man. What they will do is, honestly, when you first meet him, you'll be the one pursuer. The usual roles will be reversed. You become the cat and he is the mouse. He wants you to chase him. They're brilliant at this. The challenge at first will intrigue you, causing you to chase him more and more. He may reward you by giving you a date at the end of the game. And after several dates, his self-absorbed personality will begin to become apparent. It takes him longer than any man you've ever met to get ready. He's working on his beard or whatever. He looks at himself longingly in the mirror. The sex in the beginning will probably be great for you, but don't be fooled. He isn't so attentive to your needs because he cares. He's attentive because it suits his huge ego that he was the best you ever had. He doesn't really care about making you feel great. He cares about you feeling that, oh, you're the best guy I ever had. It's all about him. Eventually that will die down and the sex would all be about pleasing himself. Later on in the relationship, his drive for self-satisfaction will probably cause him to begin cheating on you. This will inevitably lead him to leave you, so so that he can go and feel the same ego trip that you gave when you first met him. So he's the most guaranteed guy to become a cheater. Now, the last guy on the list of types to avoid, and probably the worst, is the controller. Okay, now how to spot them. He appears charming, thoughtful, and kind, like they all do. You'll have difficulty finding any fault at him at first. He loves being around you, and you love being around him. But some initial signs will be just how close he gets to you and how quickly. People of this sort can't stand the thought of losing control over any aspect of their life, and that includes you. Since it can be so hard to see the controller for what he really is in the beginning, pay attention to how he treats his friends and family. If he's overbearing and dominating, things aren't looking good. Jealousy is also a personality trait of them. So why to avoid them? Well, unless you're looking forward to answering to someone for every single thing you do for the rest of your life, the reasons why you wouldn't want this guy should be pretty clear. He will completely control every aspect of you. If you go out with your friends without asking him, you're almost guaranteed an encounter with him when you get home. You'll not have to say anything ever again. He will control the finances, the family decisions, what you wear, everything. It'll be a nightmare for you. He's most likely on the list to be physically abusive, and the chances of him being emotionally abusive are good too. Now, what will they try to do? When you enter a relationship with this kind of guy, you'll try to downplay his controlling ways as to not scare you away before you become attached. After a while, his real side will show though. It will start with little things like, don't you think you could have worn something a little less revealing? Or would it have really hurt you to stay home for once? Or maybe you need to cool it with your coworker. It's obvious you're flirting with him. You see, he's starting to control your life, and it's dangerous. After enough of these little jabs, things will become progressively more violent. He will start finding more and more things wrong with you. He could become physically violent too. Afterwards, he'll be sure to apologize to you for his ways, but don't fall for that. Okay? This is simply another aspect of his controlling and dominating personality. It's my hope that by recognizing these toxic types of people, you can better avoid them. If you believe yourself to currently be in a relationship with any of these types of guys, do yourself a favor and break up with them. It's my belief that all women deserve to be loved by a good-hearted, caring, strong man, a real gentleman. And as I've said before, it will take time before you find them. You can check out my other video on the kind of guys to find versus the ones to avoid in this video. But the guy you want is out there, and it's worth the wait. Now, for everything else you need in your goal of understanding men, maybe just how to get a date in the first place, what are men looking for, what do we really think about physical appearance, why do we always say something, mean a different thing, what are we really thinking, all of it, click the link below this video to go to my recently launched site at whatishereallythinking.com to just help women demystify men. As well, give the video a like if this has helped you, or if you think it can help other women and with some guy they're with right now that's being bad to them. If you want to maybe suggest this video to one of your girlfriends who's with a guy who's treating her wrongly. And also subscribe to the channel and leave comments on anything you want to know. I'm going to be doing videos about 2 or 3 times a week, or even daily at times, on all aspects of relationships, like I said, from getting a guy to keeping them forever. Getting your ex back, everything like that. So leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, enjoy the videos, and until next time, good luck with love and relationships. Bye for now.